Hi, and welcome back to Rate That Album. Back and forth album review between myself, Joseph Fremming, and my good friend, Paul Muad'Dib. Paul, how are you doing?
Did I cheat on you or something?
Well, we're going into this review with middle fingers up, Paul.
With arms out,
this
buddy.
week, I decided to change it up a bit. We haven't done a lot of R&B and modern pop on our little podcast here. So I decided to switch it up with, well, if you're going to do it, you might as well go for the top cream of the crop. I picked Lemonade by Beyoncé. Probably one of the finest fuck you albums you'll ever hear.
Yeah. That's a good way of putting it. This is a giant fuck you album.
Yeah, the last fuck you album we listened to, I think, was Metal Machine Music. So, like,
which is the second best.
Yeah, so let's talk about the classic fuck you albums. I mean, a lot of times a fuck you album is directed at a label for, fucking around and then finding out by the artist. As with Lou Reed, Neil Young has a rich history of fuck you albums. Almost all pointed at David Geffen. You sometimes get fuck you tracks to former bandmates.
Yep.
It was classic with Lennon McCartney and their solo works. And then you have the fuck you album by a band itself, which was, Rumors by Fleetwood Mac.
Oh, God. Yeah, it was.
And today we're talking about a fuck you album by Beyonce. I mean, I'll use the word allegedly, but I think you listen to the lyrics, Jay-Z done fuck around and he found out.
I normally don't look into things. And I did look up to this because I was like, I have to know. And I did realize that he was actually interviewed about this album. Yeah, no, it's a fuck you album.
Yeah. So I don't know the whole story, but it's pretty apparent. This was based off his infidelities.
No question.
And as they're dealing with it, they both released albums. Beyonce released Lemonade, and he released, I think it was like 444, which was hands down the worst Jay-Z album I've ever heard in my life. And
it was not good.
Jay-Z. I love Jay-Z. I think he's in the top 5 hip hop artists for me.
Oh yeah, easily.
Black Album was a fucking masterpiece.
Black Album was a masterpiece, and then what Danger Mouse did with it was amazing with the Gray Album.
Yeah, with the Beatles. Yeah, Beatles samples, but even before, like the Blueprint album's great. That album he did with Kanye, Watch the Throne, fantastic.
Yes.
And then he fucked around, and his wife put out not only her best album, but I'd argue this album kind of like kicked his catalog in the nuts.
I would agree with that. I would completely agree with that. Mm-hmm.
Which that's got to be pretty demasculating.
I mean, this, yeah. I mean, now in the interview, he mentioned that they were involved in the creative process of each other's album. Now, I question that because there's a lot of people on this album, from what I could tell, and I couldn't hear Jay-Z on a single fucking track of it.
Yeah, and I don't think I've seen any credit of him being on it. She's on his album.
Okay.
But I don't see it on this album. He might be. But this album came out in 2016, and for me, that was a real shit year. Like, going through a divorce, and then Donald Trump becoming president. Like, that was the year that we all just went into the darkest timeline.
Yes, it was.
And my buddy Caleb, he's been a huge fan of Beyonce forever, and I was always indifferent. Like, I liked some of the Destiny's Child, hits they had or whatnot. But I was just largely indifferent. And he's like, dude, no, you have to listen to it. And I'm like, yeah, I'll listen to it. And I never would, which would just frustrate the hell out of him. So I went, like, on my birthday, me and him hung out, and he showed me the movie Lemonade. And it fucking, like, it kicked me in the dick. It was, like, visually stunning. It was very Lynchian, which was not expected from Beyonce, Miss Bootylicious. And the songs, like, he was just like, yeah, dude, this is like a fucking dark album. And I'm like, this is a dark album. This is not what I was expecting. And so that's how, this is one of those times where an album I finally understood the global phenomenon. Where, you know, it's just sometimes, like, I'm just indifferent to a lot of things in popular culture, but I know somebody's popular. I really don't know why. This was the album where I'm like, oh, I get it. I get it now.
I would say I have not heard this album. I hadn't heard this album. And when you told us that we were going to be listening to it, I was apprehensive. I'm not going to lie. You know, it's I'm kind of in the boat of I don't do really, really poppy stuff. I was very pleasantly surprised from what we got.
Yeah, it's not a surface album. You know what I mean? There's a lot of things going on that are relatable to people who've been in shitty situations.
Mm-hmm.
And not only that, it's done really well, and where it really shouldn't. I mean, this is an album with Jack White, Kendrick Lamar, and the Dixie Chicks.
Yeah, and Weeknd.
The Weeknd? Yeah. Like, in what world would this all fucking work?
Yeah,
maybe this album threw us in the darkest timeline. It's like, yeah, no album's gonna, you know, just jolted us. Like, yep, that's what happens when you fuck around like that, Beyonce.
Yeah, I never would have thought in my lifetime I'd be listening to a Beyonce Jack White track.
No, me either. But that's kind of like how I got into it. And so let's talk about it, Paul. What are your thoughts?
There's a lot of anger. Beyonce's a very angry woman in this, and I can respect the shit out of that. Like I said, I did not know much about this album. I had known that she had put out a album kind of calling out Jay-Z. I didn't really pay attention. I didn't realize it was this album. I was really taken back, to be honest with you, at first. Like, my first listening, I was like, whoa, this is not what I would expect from a Beyonce album, like, at all. So, like, the first time I listened to it, I was just, like, every track, I was like, whoa. She's doing that. She's going there. Beyonce's angry. Beyonce's swearing. Beyonce's throwing out the N-word.
Beyonce's doing a country song.
Yeah. Beyonce's doing a country song. She's having Jack White yell at fucking Jay-Z. What the shit is going on here? I listened to it the second time because I'm like, okay, now I know what to expect. And musically, like, production-wise and everything, this is really good. Now, correct me if I'm wrong. Was this the album that lost to Beck?
I don't remember. I don't follow that. It might have.
Okay, because I remember Beyonce was up for an album, and Beck had an album that came out that was like a super sleeper, and like it never played anywhere, it never did anything, and it won. And I can't remember if that's what it was, but
Beck has those David Miscavige connections, Paul. He can get awards if he wants an award. Yeah.
No, it wasn't. It was Morning Phase. It was 2 years earlier. He beat Beyonce in 2014, I think it was, not 2016. But like, I don't know if that also took her to the drawing board. She was pissed off, whatever, but I can get behind this Beyonce. Like, this is awesome.
Yeah. this is like you said with the production. It's also something I wouldn't expect because it's a lot of really cool layers and stuff. Like, it's not what you expect from like a top 40 dominant juggernaut that is Beyonce, which is like it really, I think, changed my perspective and made me respect her a lot more, that she was willing to take a chance on something like this, because on paper this should not work.
No,
you bring this to a label or like whatever, they're like, what? No. And she fucking made it work.
Yeah, I memean, there's samples in here from fucking Led Zeppelin, King,
Biz Markie.
I mean, there's samples
Welcome
all over
X.
Yeah. The yeahs. I mean, there is a lot going on here. I really enjoyed it.
Yeah, no, I was because this was like a chance. It also gave me a reason to revisit it and go and buy the vinyl of it, because I've always wanted that. So our podcast kind of got me off my ass to go back and listen to it. But yeah, it's one of those albums, like, it's just holy fuck, it's good, and you feel like maybe I shouldn't. Why am I liking this so much? Because this is not in my wheelhouse. At least that's for me.
Yeah.
When this came out, I'm like, this is not in my wheelhouse. Like, I don't listen to Beyonce. I'm not a Beyonce fan. And now after listening to it, I was like, some bitch, I'm a Beyonce fan. Son of a bitch.
Yeah. I mean, it took me a while with like Hold Up. Like, I was like, God, I know some of these lyrics. I know, and then it realized it was Maps. It was the yeah. And I was like, holy shit. Yeah. And then Jack White pops in with Don't Hurt Yourself. And I was like, I can get behind this. And then Sorry is like a really angry song. I was like, holy shit. Like, yeah, just that 1, 2, 3 combo of the second, third, and fourth track was really fucking great.
Yeah. And, there's some tracks on here I feel are kind of like, don't do a whole lot for me, but there's not a lot, which is saying something for an album, because as we discussed, I don't believe in the perfect album, but yeah, it's fuck. Even the last, like, you got Daddy Lessons, Sandcastles, and fucking Freedom.
Oh, Freedom's a fucking banger, dude.
Oh God, I love Freedom. I love Sandcastles. I'm a sucker for a piano ballad.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, I was just into the whole fucking funk and like that 60s fucking organ sound that was on it, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was banger.
And I really like Daddy Lessons, which was weird because she's doing a country song, but it's not straight up country, because it has like, what would you call, like, the New Orleans kind of like jazz in it too?
When we talked a little bit about this, and you had said, yeah, the country song, and I was like, I think I know which track he's talking about. And then I went back and listened to it, and I was like, oh, that is country. Oh, yeah, okay, it is like country.
But it's more in the vein of like old country, like Hank Williams, where they're using like jazz and Creole type influences.
Very Creole. Very Creole.
Yeah, and I fucking I love that this track was like the earworm for me the first time I listened to it, because I was just like, wait, what the fuck is happening here? And then I saw she performed it live with the Dixie Chicks at like the Country Music Awards, and you could just see white conservative dudes just horrified.
That is, I love it. Yeah, I love that. I absolutely love that white country dudes are horrified by a Beyonce country song with the Dixie Chicks. Like, that makes my day. That makes my year.
Sorry, white country dudes, but that song is more in the vein of Hank Williams than fucking anything Toby Keith has ever done.
Oh yeah, no, absolutely. And again, I think that's why it took me by surprise, because it's not what I consider modern country, right? Like, that's why when you said it's a country song, and I'm used to the shitty modern country that I absolutely try to avoid because I don't feel it's country. So when you said it was country, I had to like unindoctrinate myself from the modern country and be like, fuck, yeah, no, that's great new country.
Yeah, no, like I'd love it if she'd do an album like, of that kind of genre. She probably won't, but fuck.
I don't think she would, but I'd listen to it, and I don't listen to country.
Yeah.
So. Yeah, 6 Inch with Weeknd was awesome.
Oh God, that it just and I'm not a huge fan of The Weeknd, but his falsetto voice on here just really fucking blends well with the theme of the song and what she's doing with it.
Well, I mean, all these people. I mean, Jack White blending in. You would not think it would work. You wouldn't think it works, and it works so well. "Don't Hurt Yourself" is awesome. It's a great fucking song, and when Jack White pops in, it's not jarring. It fucking works.
Yeah. Even with James Blake on "Forward," like what?
Yeah, that one didn't work very well for me. But I think it's because it blends in with Sandcastles and then becomes its own track. But I still was surprised to hear him on it.
Yeah, well, yeah, it's basically an extra minute of Sandcastles. That's all it is.
Yes, but then Kendrick Lamar pops in on "Freedom," and you're like, all right, fucking, and like I said, "Freedom's" just a fucking banger, dude.
Yeah, I really love Kendrick Lamar. Like, "To Pimp a Butterfly," I think they came out in the same year as this, maybe. Fucking one of the best hip hop albums, I would say. I would argue that was top tier. Like that album blew me away, and then this blew me away. Yeah. The big hit of the album, though, is not a track I really care for.
Which one is the big hit?
"Formation."
Oh, was that the big hit?
Yeah, like I always thought "Freedom" was the big hit because
me too.
That feels like it's a big hit.
Yeah. No,
"Formation" was like that's probably like the track I'm not a huge fan of.
I will say that "All Night" went on my playlist like right away. Like the notes that she hits in "All Night," it's gorgeous. It's her voice is gorgeous in that song.
Yeah, well, yeah, her voice is just great in general.
Yeah, but really that particular track for me, because again, I've only heard Beyonce from, just what little I've listened to it because, again, I tend to avoid really pop 40 stuff. It's just how I am. But like the reverb that she had in her voice and the notes she was hitting I was just like, holy shit, like this. Yeah, I get it. I get it. I get why she's the fucking bee. I get it now.
Yeah, and I see why like the fans flock and everything. And man, it also feels like this album took the wind right out of Jay-Z's sails because I can't even think of a thing he's done since this album came out that's even memorable.
No, and that's the other thing. I kind of, I when I was listening to this, I was like, did Jay-Z retire?
Yeah, he's popped up on tracks here and there. He might have released another album after that 444, but jeez.
Oh god, I need now I'm curious. I have to look up like Jay-Z albums because I have not heard anything of him as of late.
This is one hell of a burn, Paul.
It's rough, man. Yeah,
man,
no.
Paul, imagine if your wife released an album like this.
Oh, dude,
on you. Like, I'd probably kill myself. Like, there's no coming back.
444 was the last album he did, and so yeah, I mean. Yeah, if my wife did an album like this, man, how they haven't ended in divorce, given what all the shit. Like there is a lot of anger. There is a lot of anger on this album.
Yeah, well, maybe part of it is being able to express it in a creative way. Maybe it brought them together. I don't know,
dude. But I mean, "Sorry" in and of itself is like the like to me that was like the nail in the coffin right there. Like, oh fuck, dude.
Oh shit. Well, it's followed up by 6.
Yes, followed by 6-inch, like 6-inch with fucking Weekend, and you're like, oh damn, and then Daddy Lessons. It's like, oh my god.
Daddy Lessons basically like her dad, like
Tell her not to be with guys like Jay-Z.
yeah. Well, it's like it's a little more autobiographical because like her dad cheated on her mom, and that was like his, don't date a guy like me. Whatever. And so calling them out. Yeah, there's even parts, where just my daddy said, that's your Second Amendment. Like,
Yeah, that's your Second Amendment.
Basically, just go shoot them.
Yeah. And then it goes into Love Drought, which I didn't think was that great.
Yeah, I'm not a huge fan, but it's serviceable for getting us to Sandcastles.
It's serviceable for getting us to Sandcastles, which is a great song.
Sandcastles is probably my favorite.
All Night. All Night to me is like my favorite, but I mean, it's because there's just so much going on in it where it goes from like her doing a very quick rap to her like singing, and I get it doesn't gel with like the tone of the album because it's one of the more like forgiving songs in it. But for whatever reason, man, like that's the earworm to me. Like that's the track that went on my playlist.
And Andre 3000's is a writing credit on it.
Oh my god!
So I'm guessing there's an Outkast track sampled on there. Like, there's a lot going on in this album. But it doesn't feel busy, which is good. I like albums when there's a lot of things going on, but it doesn't feel busy. Yeah,
that's the other thing I was going to bring up was that there is a lot going on, but it has that breathing room and allows things to breathe. It allows for the different layers to be heard. And that in and of itself, I think is a very difficult talent to do musically, is to have all these layers and be able to suss them out.
Yeah. I like what you said. It breathes. It has room to breathe, and her voice is phenomenal. And I think in an age where every pop singer is auto-tuned to death, it's kind of a breath of fresh air to hear somebody actually singing.
Yes, that was the other thing.
Not sounding like a robot.
That was the other thing I was concerned about, was because I'm used to Top 40 having auto-tune, right? So I was expecting a lot of auto-tune. And I was expecting myself to get really pissed off. And no, I mean, this is just there's talent here. I mean, I'm sure there's some auto correction, some pitch correction here and there, but it's not fucking auto-tuned.
If they use auto-tune, it was for the correct reasons.
Right, where you can't detect it. Yeah, you can't detect it. It's not for the share. Fuck that song, forever making auto-tune a popular thing. Fuck. Oh my god. Yeah, no, but Pray You Catch Me is a great opener. It's a great opener, but then you go to Hold Up, Don't Hurt Yourself, Sorry, 6-inch, Daddy Lessons, which is just barrage after barrage after barrage of angry Beyonce.
Yeah, I mean, this is, if you're gonna do a fuck you album, this is holy shit.
This is it.
Yeah, this is it.
Yeah, no, this is it. This is absolutely it. And then Freedom, like I said, Freedom. You get Love Drought, you get Sandcastles, things kind of slow down, and then you get Freedom, and that is like the funkiest song I've heard in a long time.
Oh shit, yeah, and I'm reading like that. I think Freedom became like an anthem for the George Floyd protests too.
Oh, did it really?
Because there's a lot of like, there's so much we can dig into here, because there's a lot of like, but I'm no expert, so like, but there's like Black identity, Black feminism on here. I'm not an expert, so I'm not really comfortable discussing that shit.
Yeah, two white guys from the Midwest aren't the best people to discuss that, I don't think.
Yeah, it's not my wheel. I'm not an expert, so I'm not. But it's there. It's there, and it makes it interesting. It adds to like the themes beyond. So it's not just like an infidelity album. I think it's a lot of it's also like self-discovery too.
Oh yes,
figuring out where you are in this world at this point.
Yes, yeah. I mean, freedom. The lyrics of freedom. You know, that one's not all about infidelity. That's there's a lot there. You know, that I think other people could comment on. I think more intelligently than we could. But by God, you know, the it's there. Like it's easy to pick up.
Yeah. There's so much going on, and there's a lot of themes, and it's like you got to tip your hat to somebody who just keeps evolving as an artist, and it took me by surprise. You know, like I was, you know, like you, top 40. I'm just very weary about it.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's just not my thing. But yeah, when I heard this, I was just like, holy fuck, holy shit! Like what is this?
Yeah, no, like I said, you know, when you first suggested it, I was like, oh man, I'm gonna feel bad. Joe's gonna love, you know, Joe loves this album. I'm not gonna be all for it. And by the end of it, I mean, I was even listening to some of it today when I was out just for a little bit, and yeah, I'm like, this is a fucking banger album. Like, I get it, man. I get why you like this.
Oh yeah. I was, you know, who knows what other people like, but yeah, this album is just, it was that album where I'm like, I get why she is the global superstar she is. You know, it's yeah. This album cemented that to me. I was like, yep, I get it.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And again, as you said, on paper, this should not work. A fuck you album with, you know, a bunch of samples from fucking, you know, the yeahs, Led Zeppelin, Animal Collective, Isaac Hayes. You got fucking Jack White on it. You got fucking Ears Are Coding from fucking Vampire Weekend on it. You got, you know, there is a sample from Outkast on it. Who would have thought? Who would have thought that this would have worked? I'm interested now to see the movie. I have not seen the movie.
Yeah, I'm battling with the. This is an interesting aside. So I bought the record and I got the digital download, and the movie wouldn't download for me. So I'm doing a back and forth email with either Columbia or Sony Records. Both of them, for some reason, have responded to me. Like for my digital download. Like, so I'm still waiting. I've seen the movie, but I would need to see it again. But yeah, they keep saying like, "Yep, we'll resend your code," and like I never get it. And it's like, this isn't hard, people. It's fuck, just send me the fucking file of it or a zip drive or something. You hear me, Columbia Records or Sony, whoever the fuck.
Who the fuck you are? Give us
you're on blast. You're on blast. You're on the Rate That Album blast list, buddies.
So tell me then, I mean, I'm going to assume, but what was the critical reception?
Well, this is her most well regarded album, Paul. Like, critics loved it, and it was overwhelmingly praised by critics. Let me look at the weekly charts, and almost all of them, except for a few, was at least in the top 10. A large majority at number 1. Chart 2016 to 2019 weekly chart performance for Lemonade.
Oh my
God. Year-end charts. U.S. Billboard 200 number 4, not bad. U.S. top R&B albums by Billboard number 1. U.S. top R&B hip-hop albums by Billboard number 2. Worldwide albums, the IFPI Global Music Report number 1.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Like, Australian urban albums, number 1. Australian albums, number 3. Like, I mean, yeah, it has had global charting. So yeah, it did well.
Good. I'm glad it did. Because this is pop. People should take a cue from this and use this as a blueprint, because this is phenomenal.
Yeah, or if you're really pissed off at your significant other, you know, this is how you do a "fuck you" album to them. Like, I don't want to say it neutered Jay-Z, but he hasn't released anything since. So I'm just saying that's a little suspicious. I'm not saying he was completely kicked in the dick and his balls fell into a jar, but he hasn't done anything. So
now, did this come out around the time? Because I do remember there, and maybe you don't. I do remember there being like I try not to pay attention to celebrity, fights and relationships and things like that. But I remember seeing something where there was like a video of him getting beat up by her sister in an elevator.
That might be around like the lead. I think that was probably I think it was before this album came out. Was it Solange?
Yeah, I think it was Solange. Attacked Solange attacked Jay-Z in an elevator.
Attacked him in an elevator. So yeah, I think that might have been one of the letting people know like there was trouble in paradise. And her sister's beating up her husband.
Yeah. I think
it's not a good sign.
No, okay, I'm looking at this. It happened in 2014. So
yep.
right when she was about to start working on this album.
Oh, yeah, she started recording June of 2014, so
there we go. It happened May, I think it was. So yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, it happened May of 2014. So according to TMZ, I'm looking here, May 12th, 2014, Jay-Z was ferociously assaulted by Beyonce's sister, who was wildly kicking and swinging at him inside an elevator. Oh, man. Yeah,
that's so amazing.
Yeah, this that is amazing. This really put Beyonce in a whole new light. Like I never would have thought, she's been, I think up to that point, she was very cautious about how she appeared. You never really heard anything. There was never really any drama with Beyonce. And then, this comes out, and rather than causing a problem, everyone loves it, rightfully so.
Yeah, I think her only brush with controversy before this was when her album lost to Taylor Swift and Kanye West ran on stage and started yelling.
Yes.
That's not really her controversy. That's the walking, talking mental illness that is Kanye West.
That is Kanye West, yeah. That was no reflection on Beyonce whatsoever.
She was just in the audience, and she looked pretty embarrassed.
She looked very embarrassed. I felt bad for her.
I also feel, it's got to be pretty awkward for Taylor Swift, too.
Yeah.
She's just there to grab an award, and this kooky motherfucker shows up.
This guy shows, and then he did the same thing to Beck. I do remember that he did the same thing to Beck when Beck won, and Beck was like, "Please, no, I want my Taylor Swift moment." Oh yeah, no. Do we talk about Pete Davidson and fucking Kim Kardashian or not so much?
She has a type.
She has a type, and apparently it's Pete Davidson. That guy. What the fuck?
Oh yeah, he looks like a Muppet with a crack addiction.
Yeah, he does. Oh my god, that's so funny. Good for him, though. Good for him. So yeah, I mean, okay. Let me ask you this: we talked a little bit about, but definitively, which tracks didn't you like?
Like I said, the Formation song, there's not a track on here I don't like. It's just some songs I don't like as much as others, and Formation is one of them.
Mm-hmm.
The forward's a little weird, but whatever. Like, I like it all around, but for me, it was weird that the big single up for the release was Formation instead of Freedom, because Freedom seems like the better choice for me. I don't know. I'm not a record exec, so I don't.
No, Freedom, sorry. Sorry. Seems like that'd be a good choice as well. Yeah, no, Freedom Freedom is a fucking banger song, dude. Like it is absolutely, like I said, the funkiest thing that come out in a long time, at least that I've heard in recent time. And to say that's coming from Beyoncé is a weird statement to come out of my mouth.
And I'm just looking at, so the song Hold Up, one of the producers on that, Ezra Cohen from Vampire Weekend.
Right.
Like, what the fuck?
Yeah,
none of this should make sense.
No, none of it should make sense. None of it should make sense. You know, Soulja Boy's on it. Soulja Boy's not all that great. It's Soulja Boy. Like, what the fuck? I mean, he's getting in trouble for selling fucking knockoff video game consoles. Like, what the fuck?
Hey, man, people got to make a living.
People got to make a living. You know, yeah, no, and you know, I like right away, like I was in the car and I couldn't see what was playing, and like right away when 6 Inch came on, I was like, that's Weekend. Like I knew, like I was like, that's Weekend. What's Weekend doing with Beyonce? And same thing with Jack White. I was like, that's Jack White. What the hell is happening here?
Like, am I having a stroke?
Yeah. I was like,
what's that burning smell all around me?
Is this what having a stroke is like? Like, what the fuck? No, I gotta say, Joe, I never in my life would I have thought I've ever said that I'd be a fan of a Beyonce album, and here I am. Like, we live in the weirdest timeline.
Hell yeah, brother. So, Paul, would you recommend?
Oh yeah. Oh, absolutely. Yes. I mean, to me, there's two tracks that I don't really care for, and that is Love Drought and Forward. I think Love Drought is fine for what it is. I feel like it's maybe on another album, maybe be a little bit higher rated, but yeah, I mean, again, you just go from like Hold Up to fucking Daddy Lessons, and you're on a fucking fast track of fun. And then you got your lows with Love Drought, Sandcastles, Forward, and then it kicks into Freedom, which is a fucking banger. And then you got All Night, which is gorgeous. And Formation's fine for what it is.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would recommend
it. Suggest this album.
Yeah, absolutely, Joe. No, I think after being in the shit for a while, that also helps.
Yeah, we're in the doldrums there.
we were in a world of hurt.
We even dragged Joe Brown into our shit. That was bad. We got dark.
We did. It got that was 3 episodes of absolute darkness. Which, by the way, all the album, all the tracks will be out over Thanksgiving break. So
excelente.
So Joe, what do you have going on with the Joe Down?
We still got to do our Steel review. It's with the holidays, we're a little more busy with our work, so we'll get to that when we can. But we're definitely doing it because I sat through that fucking movie. So. Which the only way I can describe it is if Tommy Wiseau directed a superhero movie.
Dude, and you know, I'm a dork. Let's talk a little bit about the comics a little bit here, because I was around when the Death of Superman happened, Funeral for a Friend, comic books, and then the Return of the Superman, and the comic of Man of Steel, which later became Steel, was actually really good.
Yeah, because he was in Metropolis.
Mm-hmm.
The movie's in L.A. and Superman's not in it. But yeah, he was kind of, if I remember right, he was inspired by the Death of Superman
He was
Yeah.
inspired by it. Like once Superman died, he was inspired to because I think he almost got killed during the battle with
Doomsday.
with Doomsday, and when Superman died, he felt like this was something that he could do, so he forged himself this armor and became Man of Steel.
Yeah, and he's really cool character. He's kind of like a cross between Superman and Batman in a sense, because he doesn't have powers. He just has the armor and the hammer and tech.
Yep.
So yeah, of all the Return of the Superman, Steel was probably my favorite.
Yeah, Steel was really good.
There was Mullet Superman in the black suit, which I hated, and of course he became Superman.
No, he didn't become Superman. No. Oh, yes. I'm sorry. I thought you were thinking Eradicator. Yes. Mullet Superman. Yes, he came back the 5th Superman. Yep.
Yeah.
Which I thought was funny because, again, all of a sudden Clark Kent has long hair.
It's not just long hair, it's a fucking mullet.
Yeah, he's got a mullet, and now Superman's rocking a mullet, and still nobody figures it out.
Well, he's on the glasses, they can't tell.
True story. All right, Joe. Well, you're going to ask me what we're going to do next week?
Yeah, Paul, what are we doing?
So we're going to stick with the female theme because, as you said, it's been kind of a sausage fest. And we're going to stick with my actors and celebrities that have gone into music. And we are going to review something we really haven't done on this, which is a jazz album. And we are going to review Molly Ringwald's jazz debut album, Except Sometimes.
Except sometimes or accept?
No, except sometimes. So like EXCEPT.
All right. Now, is this jazz or is this like white people jazz where they sing over jazz?
This is white people jazz where they sing over jazz.
Oh, son of a bitch. Son of a bitch.
This is
son of a bitch.
This is white people jazz, dude. No. We're not getting in the good Duke Ellington here. We're getting in the Molly Ringwald fucking jazz, man.
And you couldn't pick Miles Davis sketches of Spain or...
We'll do more jazz, dude. We'll do more jazz, but nope. We're going to do Molly Ringwald's 2013 music debut, the jazz album, Except Sometimes.
Well, at least you didn't pick L. Ron Hubbard's jazz album, Space Jazz.
Space Jazz. Hey, man, that's still on the table. Don't even. Don't even. That's on the table, man. Terrell, the security director, is a great song, sir.
I'll have to get my thetans up for that one.
So I will tell you that this will feature a jazz cover version of Don't You Forget About Me. Because what would it be if it wasn't Molly Ringwald doing a song from fucking Breakfast Club?
Oh, I didn't have no idea her career just 9/11 like that, man. I just had no idea.
Oh man. Rough.
Well, I mean, she's putting out a jazz album where she's covering popular songs from movies she was in. I mean, she Al-Qaeda'd herself.
I mean, it's what it is. It's what it is. We'll see what you think. We'll see what I think because I have not listened to the full album myself.
Oh, okay.
So I will tell you that I have not listened to the full album myself. I actually tried to get it a lot, and this for a long time was a hard album to hear online. For whatever reason, it was not easy at all.
I wonder why, Paul.
Look, it's not Amanda Lear, all right?
I mean, holy fuck, Paul. Like, Molly Ringwald's jazz album was hard to find.
Well, I thought if anything, it was a curiosity, right? Like I was like, all right, I gotta listen to this, and no, it was not easy. I think even now, like you try to go online and listen to it, or like go on YouTube and listen to it, there's only like 2 tracks that you can. And for a long time, it was just a preview. Like nobody put out this. Like nobody decided to put this out on YouTube.
Well, it's on Spotify, so
well, a step.
It has like a whopping average of like 10,000 streams each track. So that's a glowing of how popular this album is.
Dude, I will tell you. I'll give you and the audience a little ahead of time. So if you go to Wikipedia, there are no reviews on the album.
I'm sure the entry is Molly Ringwald made a jazz album. The end.
It's.
What are you going to do, Paul? What are you going to talk about with no source to refer to?
It's
you have to talk about the merits of the album, and I don't know if I'm comfortable doing it.
Yeah, it's hey man, I could have done Gwyneth Paltrow's country album, all right?
Oh god. Did it come with a candle that smelled like her vagina?
You'll find out. Because eventually we're going to listen to Gwyneth Paltrow's country album. Just like we're going to listen to Billy Bob Thornton country album.
Well, he's also a musician. Like Billy Bob Thornton actually has a band.
Yeah, Billy Bob. Yeah, he does. It's
not good, but it.
Dude, they did a song called Angelina. No, it's not good.
Oh God! When I worked at Electric Fetus, an album of his came out, and it was just. I heard it and it was bad, and then he was like on I think it was like Howard Stern, and then Howard asked him about being an actor. And whatever, and he's like, "Would you ask that question to Tom Petty?" It's like, well, Tom Petty's a musician, buddy. You're the guy with Sling Blade.
I don't know. I don't think that was Howard Stern. That was something else because I watched that where it was him. It was him with a couple of the other members of the band, and the guy was asking him about his acting things, and Billy Bob Thornton went off the rails, like pissed that this guy was talking. It was asking about like his career and about the movies and about acting, and was not asking about the band. And like Billy Bob immediately turns into like a giant fucking dick. The rest of the band's super uncomfortable, and like the interview ended like 30 minutes early.
Yeah, well, I mean, he's not Tom Petty, because the difference between Billy Bob Thornton and Tom Petty is Tom Petty's a successful musician who's also been in successful movies.
Oh yeah, great. What's your favorite Tom Petty movie?
The Postman.
I forgot about that movie. Oh, was he in that?
Part of Kevin Costner's post-apocalyptic movie trends of the 90s.
Oh God. Yeah.
One movie he's drinking piss, the other he's walking around delivering mail with Tom Petty. Like it was a wild time.
Oh God. Oh God. No, I forgot Tom Petty was in that movie.
What? The best part.
Dude.
The top hat and everything.
I fucking put that movie out of my memory, man. I think I watched it once, and it was because there was nothing else on, and it was shit. Well, speaking of shit, you're going to listen to Molly Ringwald. No, who knows? We might be pleasantly surprised.
Yeah, you never know.
You never know. You never know. All right, buddy. Well, do you want to take us out?
I keep telling you no.